really is the Champions League this week, and the Juventus-Barcelona tie in particular. Liam, we watched it together in the studio in RTE, and I think we both felt that this was a Barcelona team that had faded to the point where you couldn't see them coming back. Now, interestingly, on the opposing channel ITV, Roy Keane was saying he felt that they could come back. Not that Roy Keane is, for me, the most thoughtful analyst, but he said they'll come back, their players are so. What did you, on reflection now?
Well, they'll come back after that defeat.
Yeah, but not to what
after
they
going
were.
Out.
Not to what they were, okay, I don't think.
Well, I said it with you, Eamon. I think the three up front are still, you've got nothing to worry about with those three. But I think they need more help. I think Rakitic, I was impressed with him when he first arrived there. But and let's remember, he did win the Champions League, and I think he scored in the final against Juventus going back a couple of years ago. But I think it's the depth of player they've got in midfield, that they've nobody to come on maybe up front or maybe in midfield that can make a difference. So midfield is a problem. Iniesta is getting on a bit. He's not the same player he was. He doesn't have the same kind of combination play that he had with Messi, and that's bound to happen as they get older. It's the defence that they've been very complacent. They haven't really addressed that situation at all in the last two or 3 years. Even when they were winning, and they were always even going back to Guardiola, they were always weak defensively. And they lost a match in Turin. If you're a great team, you can't go away and lose 3-0 and then keep on expecting to come back. When they went into the Paris game, they lost the Paris game 4-0, didn't they, Eamon?
Yes.
Well, 3-0 was a worse result against a team like Juventus.
Yes.
Because Paris, they don't have that defensive mentality that the Italians have with Chiellini and Bonucci and the others that they have there. So it was always going to be a very, very big challenge. Well, I thought they were a little bit unlucky in the first half. Messi just missed one. It just scraped the foot of the post. If that goes in, things could have been different, but they just knew that they had to take their chances against the Italians, otherwise they weren't going to get many more. But I do think that there's going to be a lot of changes. I think they're going to be very active, if they can be, in a very competitive transfer market, to try and get the defence sorted out and to get better players to come off the bench, because the strength and depth is not what it used to be.
John, your impression of Barcelona, not just the other night, but particularly the other night, but also of my belief that they are now no longer the great team they were.
I would agree with that, Eamon. I don't think it was just the other night. I think it's been coming for a while.
Yeah.
And all great teams have a time, Eamon, when they go past the best. Xavi is gone. He's been off for a couple of years.
32, pushing 32.
Iniesta's again. I don't think Messi's the same player as he was either. I think in the first half, I'd agree with Liam. I thought they played quite well. There was an urgency about them that they haven't shown for a long time. But that was only for 45 minutes. I think the fact that the coach has decided at Christmas that he's going to leave at the end of the season, he knows what's going on. And I can't understand any coach who would have Barcelona players at the best that would want to resign. I know Guardiola did it, but he did it for different reasons, having won a lot of trophies. But I think Enrique in the position that he's in now is saying at Christmas, I'm going to leave at the end of the season. So he knows more about the situation there than we do. And I think if he felt that this team is not past its best, that they can continue to be successful, there's no way he would leave at the end of the season. So they're not the same team. There has been a gradual decline, I think, particularly with Messi. It might be time for Messi to make a move himself and get a new challenge. But
I think he might go to the Premier League, to City.
I think it would give him a new lease of life. It happens with players when they've been at a club for a long time, Eamon, and he's been there since he was a kid. Just a new challenge to go to the Premiership, new surroundings, and actually get him going again. I mean, Liam would know. Inspire him, because it's he's been there a long time. Liam would know when Pirlo left to go to, was it Juventus?
Milan.
To go to Milan, wasn't it, Liam?
Yeah, he went from Milan to Juventus.
The other way around.
I think in Milan, and they thought he was finished. You know.
Yeah, but that was a new challenge for him. I'm only making him as an example, Liam. It does happen with players, and I think
it's a great example. It's a great example. Maybe his form was to do with the fact that he needed a new challenge, and Milan mistook it for the fact that they thought he was over the hill, and he went to Juventus and played brilliantly for another 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and I think there is a factor in the Messi story, and it is that his father and he have been facing charge of tax evasion, and an 18-month prison sentence was handed down, but you don't have to serve it. It's suspended if it's less than 2 years. But the 10 million or thereabouts that was owed to, or deemed to be owed to the Spanish tax authorities, that has to be paid. So having that kind of stuff going on, even if you're as wealthy as he presumably is, can't help either.
No, it's a nightmare, Eamon. I mean, you have to really have no worries, or try to have no worries when you're playing professional football, because it takes so much concentration to do it. And I think any sort of distraction can be dreadful, really dreadful, because it's all or nothing. And there's no doubt he had to be distracted by that, because it was a very serious case and very embarrassing case for him. I think that's why, for what it's worth, that get that wrapped up in Spain and come for the example to the Premiership.
Yeah.
Where I say if he's playing for Arsenal or Manchester United, what a challenge Manchester City.
Well, Manchester City is an obvious.
He made for him, and it's a new lease of life. It's a new country or whatever. I think it would be great for him to do that. But I think he has definitely gone off the boil to what he was. He's still a great player, but to what he was, Eamon, I think the demise of his form has been very, very important for Barcelona. And
very sad. Liam, it would be great for Premier League, wouldn't it?
It would, but you have to remember that Barcelona, he has performed again this year for Barcelona. Eamon, you look at his goals tally alone, so I think it would have to take an awful lot of money for Barcelona to sell him.
Well, he's out of contract. He's out of contract soon.
Yeah, but I think he's got another year to go, Eamon, on his contract.
Yeah, and he probably has a buyout clause.
It would have to be top dollar. It would have to be crazy money from Man City to get him. And coming to the Premiership, okay, I think football is very easy for those teams in Spain, the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid. They can coast, 60-70% sometimes, and still win matches without a problem. And coming to the Premiership, I'd love to see him. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see him. Maybe not helping Man City to trophies, but he'd be a great addition to the Premiership. But I'd absolutely love to see him. But I think Barcelona would be very reluctant to let that happen.
They mightn't have a choice. By my calculation, when you say crazy money, he would cost 3 Otamendi's, a Mangala, and a Fernando. And I think that would be good business.
Well, I think that's crazy money, and if you add that up, it's probably about 200 million.
Yeah, well, that's what they've wasted anyway, and I haven't even gone all the way down the list,
But Liam, they might think in a business sense now. I think he's about the 30 mark. He's given them great service. Don't forget, Pogba went for 90 million. So I say if Barcelona got an offer which wouldn't be out of this world now at 90 million, they might well think, well, we've had a good time from him, and it's time to cash in, and maybe use that.
You're not comparing the standard of play, John. I know you're not. I'm being flippant now, but you're not comparing Pogba to Messi.
No.
Yeah, maybe on a transfer fee. Yes, if Pogba was 90 million, but I don't think he's done with. I think he is not. He's not a player. He's playing differently, but I don't think he's done with. I think there's a lot.
He's still a great player, Liam, but he's not what he was. That spark has gone from his game at all this season, and maybe a bit last season as well. And the only point I'm making, if Manchester United can pay 90 million for Pogba, and Barcelona are offered 90 maybe, or maybe even 100 million, they could well be tempted to do it. I'm not saying they would, and I actually do think it would be good for Messi to come to the Premiership, have a new challenge, different game altogether. That's only my feeling about it. But he's been a great player, and I'd love to see him continue being a great player.